Hello, my friends. We are live. I'm going to give you just a minute. I see people logging in, and we will get started. YouTube, you are live. Welcome. Throw me a hi or a wave in the chat. It's good to see you all. So, so much to talk about. So I tried to break it down the best I could, but it's just I'm gonna do my best because there's a lot going on, and to simplify this all down, it gets overwhelming, but I did the best I could to break this into kind of chunks for all of you. And so we're gonna address all of this from where you're at instead of thinking that you have to change. I'm not going to get into a lot of astrology. We're going to do the planetary update at the end, and then we will open up for discussion if we have time. But it's a lot. I get it. So I'm gonna tap into it all I can. As you all know, you can ask questions as we go, and then I will answer them as I can get to through them in the Q&A. Okay, so let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome to the Truth Tribe. I am Daune Thompson. Thank you for being here. Those of you who've been with me for a long time and those of you who are newbies, I'm so grateful to have you here. You're all perfect exactly where you are. There's nothing wrong with you. I know it feels like it, but is nothing wrong with you. I love you all. And remember that Truth Tribe is to illuminate self-awareness of your health, your wealth, and your love. And I do not believe we need 20 years of therapy. You need clarity right now. What am I going through? And as you all know, you don't need astrology for Truth Tribe, but it sure helps when we're talking about them tonight. Not so much, but we usually will. So go onto my website, ideserveitnow.com. You can go to Astrology 101, Astro 101, and get a mini tutorial class as well as your birth chart, and you'll always be able to kind of keep up with what we're talking about. All right. So tonight, the 5 stages of awakening and the shit test. So tonight, you guys, I'm just going to cut right to it, okay? You're all going through a shit test. That's the best way I can say this, okay? You're all being given triggers to see if you'll fold. I get it, right? I totally get it because I also have been going through it. This ascension frequency shift has been intense and overwhelming and exhausting and illuminating and clarifying of my self-awareness. So just like so many of you, when you go through an awakening, you question the knowledge you have, the knowledge you need, the knowledge necessary to have the dreams you want. Like, do I know enough? Is this if the right way I'm going? It's on and on and on. And then what happened to me, especially in the last several weeks, I had to go through my own stage of awakening to align with my own personal soul codes from shit test after shit test. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open and I was like, oh, right. And so we want it to be so like airy fairy dancing through the daisy patch, and it just doesn't work that way. And what is happening to all of you in the stages that you're going through, the stages are all of you are breaking through, okay? And I needed to understand why I went through all these stages, and that's what I want to share with all of you tonight, to understand that you're just in a stage of ascension and awakening to yourself. You're breaking out of your mental jail. It's how to know you're done accepting less, which is why you're going through the shit test. Okay? Your old reality is dying. Your old life is ending. Your old small lax self is simply done having tantrums to get attention. Now it's just owning it and wanting to be there. We're done waiting for the one savior to come and stop our suffering. We are now realizing that we are in the accumulation of all our work and all our avoidances. And it's so we can see how we can save ourselves. This is getting in the way of what is real and what is not real, because what used to be real isn't real anymore. So it's like very confusing. So, right, if that doesn't work, then what does? And that's what's getting everybody tripped up. Like, well, if I don't do that, then what do I do? And going against the masses who have their eyes glued on a screen in their hands. That's what you do. Looking for signs. They're all looking for signs from a savior telling them it's going to be okay. And if they cannot regurgitate what they see to you, they cannot connect with you because they don't know themselves. And you choosing to save you or choose you is stopping participation in this social condition of out there is the answer. And when you are not invested out there in acceptance of others giving you solutions, right? Whatever it may be, health, wealth, love, peace, safety, whatever it is, you will start to see yourself shut out of your own life, your old life, causing a feeling like you're in this void. And the void is like nothingness, right? There's nothing there. Nothingness, like nothing makes sense, yet nothing feels right either. Do you all get that? So the first stage that everybody I've been watching them go through, and a lot of people have gotten through that. You're seeing the masses starting to get there. The first stage is fed up, right? First, it will feel like you're fed up with controlled suffering. You've been controlled in health, and that would be big pharma medicine, your education, your social status, your health, your wealth, your worth. For so long, your emotional gene was shut off. It was all here in your head, telling you what to think. So your thoughts were very demanding. It has to be like this because that's what we were told, causing you to be enslaved to this way of living. And now you're tapping into your heart, into the heart connected to the pineal gland, connected to source God consciousness. Okay. And because you're all starting to become aware of every time you give up your wealth, or as I call it, your worth, you're not getting any better. You're like, okay, keep giving and giving and giving, and nothing's getting any better. Your health, your wealth, and your love, right? It's no different than what everybody has been, what's been happening in the financial government spending abuse of your money revelation that happened recently, right? At giving to others or giving, giving it over to someone else that you don't know who they are, asking, and then this poor spending about where it's been, where's it been going, right? That makes you angry. But a lot of you haven't asked the same exact questions of what you just watched there, of when you tithe to the church and when you gave to a school, when you give to that. Where is it going? Right? I've asked this question, you guys, for so long in every category, and yet no one wanted to see it. I have no problem giving you money, right? I just want to know where it's going so I can see it's actually having the impact you're telling me it's going, and it's going to have that impact. And then later being told, oh, sorry, there was just not enough and nothing changed, which is the whole point of it. Right? I would rather give to someone myself and not give to something that they're telling you it's going somewhere and it's not. And you're starting to get fed up. So you're starting to feel the transition out of fed up, suffering, by seeing it in this dirty pond of non-truth, dishonesty, and it's colliding with this I and this dishonesty muddy pond. Okay? Do I want to be in that? No. How do I get out? Now you're wanting to get out and breathe and ask, is this really for me? Right? The moving to the literal feeling, right? Of fuck this. I mean, that's how we all feel. It's like, screw this shit. I'm done. This is bullshit. But then you're like, but where do we go? Because you're going like, well, if this isn't real, what is? Then we move to the next level of ascension or awakening, which is the nothingness level. And it's this quiet peacefulness of nothing, right? Sometimes when there's no TV on, there's no this, and you're just at peace doing something you love, right? Removing your focus from all that muddy pond. to no longer sitting in judgment because your light has chosen you, whatever makes you happy, over the illusion of others telling you what will bring you peace and less suffering. They're telling you, and you're like, but no, that's not. It's still making me frustrated. So the brighter you become, the more you illuminate and you shine light on others' insecurities. So now other people are bringing their insecurities to you, testing the shit test, right? So when you're around them, what's happening? You will illuminate what they don't want to see, the muddy pond that they focus on, that they're like, let me focus on out there so I don't have to focus in here. Nothing makes sense or works for you as it used to. So nothing is working for you. That nothingness state gets very frustrating because it's like no matter what you try, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, it's not working. And so you're in this nothingness state, but you're still seeing it all. And you're like, what do I do? Moving you to the third stage, the uninterested solitude. This solitude stage, right? This is a really hard stage, and I'm catching a lot of people here. When you start to retreat and you're like, yeah, no, there's nothing out there for me. You're retreating and you're choosing seclusion with zero interest and venturing back into the dark, muddy waters that many are still in. And that seclusion then starts to feel like I don't fit in. But what if I don't fit in there, what if I never get a peaceful state of health, of my wealth, of my love, if I choose peace over the muddiness that everyone else seems to be focused on? So that must be it, that old way, okay? Because I don't want to fit into that. I don't want to live in that suffering and dirtiness and muddiness. I don't want to be part of this controlled system, socially, ancestrally, generationally, or energetically. I know they don't want it either, but being around them exhausts me. I'd rather be alone. Right? There's that solitude. And it's showing up for all of us because guys, I get it where you feel like this because I've done the inner work and now I want to put light back into me. I want to put the energy back into me, the healing back into me, not give. And there's not, you still have nothing to show, right? I want to be vibrant and vivacious and excited and live. And now that I tap my foot back into this muddy pond, right? Back in there, there is not one aspect for me, and I know a lot of you, of that muddy pond that's for me. Nothing about that is for me. And you're all starting to catch that. Like, that's all well and good, but it's just still not for me. I don't even want to watch it anymore. Then I start to realize the pond is full of people, places, things, memories, trying to prove what's wrong with that pond instead of what's right with themselves. But not all of you. You've all started to wake up and realize you know you want something else, which starts to create what I was deeply experiencing in the last several weeks, solitude and the nothingness stage. Like I was in complete solitude, complete, void of anything. I felt so numb, right? And so then I moved into that knowingness. That's level 4. That's a stage 4, knowingness. Because being in the nothingness, solitude, void, it feels like numbness, uninteresting. Life just then becomes unacceptable and non-negotiable for anything that's not light. Lightness, easier to be around. Knowing you can go, you can't go back, right? You could go back, I guess, to the muddy pond. But knowing that peace overrides putting up with people's bullshit because they don't want to see it. And then they blame me and they accuse me and they judge me and they tell me I don't know anything. They watched it. They heard it. You don't know anything in that muddy pond. It's too murky for you to know the truth. And you know it. You've been shown it. It's been going on for the eternity of this earth's experience. So what's even more fascinating is that I needed the outside to push back because each time I was told by the people, experiences, places, things in that muddy pond, I was told, well, this is going to happen, Dawn. You don't know. You're wrong. You're bad. And you don't know what you're doing. It's not possible. You can't heal. You can't do that. You can't create that. Why did I need it? Some of you, you have to know, why do you need the pushback? Why do you need the shit test? Why do you need to get triggered? Because some of you do too, and you have been. You've been getting triggered. I had to dig deeper to see if the muddy pond experiences, were right. I needed a shit test. I needed a trigger test. And I chose the lighter version, which is what I was seeking. The suffering wasn't the pond or my thoughts. It was the illusion of programs that I had no plan on how to exit into my sovereign state. I had no plan of how do I get to what I want. That's where everybody's getting tripped up in this knowingness part. I need to know what to do, but you're looking into the dirty pond for the answers, and that's not where it is. They're in here. That's sovereignty. That's you, independent, choosing what you want, and then you got to make a plan. In the void, in the silence, in the quiet, in the loneliness, you start to question it. You start to question yourself, and that's how you know. You question, well, what are they saying is right? Is that right? Is that good for me? Should I do that? Is that going to help me? Is that going to increase my health, my wealth, my love, my peace? No. Okay, then I got to get back here and figure out a plan for what will. When you're stepping into the next level of ascension, it's going to feel like that. When you're going, right? They're my friends. I gotta wait for them. And you're like wondering what's going to happen. They're just at a different level, my friends. We have to stop interpreting everybody is at the same place. You have to understand, let's create and understand, right? Don't take everything so literal. You need to understand everything is a frequency shift. And a lot of you have been doing a lot of work. You're at a higher frequency. You've gone through the solitude. You've gone through the fed up stage. You've gone through the nothingness stage. Nothing makes sense anymore. You've gone through now you're in the knowing stage of going, wait, I need to know what's important to me. No, let me go look. Nope, that's still muddy water. That's not important. What do I know? I know I need a plan to get what I want. That's what's going on, because you can research all you want. You can research history. You can prove the pattern historically, generationally, epigenetically. That's the higher gene, the emotion gene, right? Then you can have proof and you can say, ha, gotcha. See, this is a pattern, Dawn. I get it. It totally is a pattern. Hey, it's their fault. All that in the muddy water, it's their fault. And this person right here is going to prove it for me, and they're going to save me. And it's time to cut the string of the ancestral epigenetic trauma, which is someone is going to save me. There's no freaking savior, my friends. There's no political person that's going to save you. There is no trashing one and building up the other. There is no doctor, drug, person, place experience that is going to wake you up. It's simply shit that's going to wake you up and trigger you to see if you want to see your own self and make a plan to become independently confident and live your best life. They are not going to protect you. They're only there to provoke you. They're only giving you solace for a moment because you're avoiding going within and saying, am I being who I want to be? Because if I go over there in the muddy water, then I'm just in the muck and the mess, and I'm hanging out with people who are just as messy. You have always been love. You have always been light. You have always been peaceful. You never meet a baby that doesn't come out pristine and perfect. The dark, angry suffering was programmed into your ancestors, probably 10s, 20, 30 ancestral lines ago. Programs. These ancestors were programming and feeding your mind, and it's what you've been carrying. Who am I shifts to who I want to be. It's not who am I because I was told by mom and grandma and grandma and grandma and grandpa and dad and people. That's who I am. That's who told you. That's who you are. That's bullshit. Now it's who do I want to be? And that gets you to the next level that most people don't realize what this whole journey is all about. Learning not to avoid your ancestral epigenetic karma, but to walk into it. And karma is a lesson that I can see very vividly in every single chart I look at, and all of your charts. You can too. Go to DMT next week on the Saturday. You can look at your chart and see all your ancestral karma. In one day, you'll be cleared of it. You came here to grow and learn and create, but you're going to avoid it at all costs. Why? If you don't understand, it is not about the muddy pond out there that everybody wants to focus on. And the longer they keep focusing on it, which you don't, right? You don't realize it's everything to upset you. War and drugs and jobs and politics and food and people and doctrines and deities, and they're the best. No, mine's the best. And then we fight to be right. How's that working for you? They're still in the pond. That's how you know they're still in this muddy pond of messy murkiness. Okay? You don't realize you're doing the same thing as those you judge if you're still hanging out talking about all that crap and not coming in here and saying, I have to master me. Who do I want to be instead of who am I? Because the I am gets so attached. If you can't stick with the I am courage, I am love, I am light, and you say, no, I am shame and guilt and critical and not enough and unworthy, that's where we're getting caught. So the moment you put your head up and you quit paying attention to those you judge, you realize, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm fed up. I'm suffering and nothing has changed. The only way it changes is when you say, I don't give a crap about any of these topics unless it's peaceful with light, which is Christ, Buddha, God consciousness, which is the Christo, which is the Christ light, which is the Kundalini, which is bringing the light from divine consciousness down through your spine, bringing it back up again and shining all 12 categories of your life. Done deal, nothing else to learn. There is nothing for you to do other than ask yourself the big fat question. Am I avoiding any category of my life that I lack confidence in? Even though it triggers me, am I still unwilling to go there? To seek and to see I am living in my trauma pattern instead of my planned escape. Can you really say, I know who I am being physically, mentally, energetically? Can you say that? Do I have enough confidence to walk out of that muddy pond and tell people nothing, say nothing, just be? Just be light. Be you. Do I have enough confidence to be me? Have I grown in that karma to know I am loving being no matter what people say about me, what they do, where they go, what they want from me? Okay? I am going to just be me. And if that's too much for them, if it's too blinding for them, they'll come back when they figure out the same thing that you just did. And they'll walk out of that stupid muddy pond of all that ridiculous bullshit that they get lost in. Now, in this knowing state, right? This knowingness, you're in this fourth stage of knowingness. This is where your intuition is blasting open. And this is the part that's uncomfortable because we're not used to trusting our heart and our intuition, requiring discernment of your thoughts. You have to discern, is this thought something that is in my heart space? Are these mine or are these the epigenetic thoughts, ancestral thoughts that keep me in a mental jail frequency from your ancestors' karmic strand of beliefs that aren't yours? My husband and I were just talking today about it goes back 7 epigenetics and the emotional gene. Your parents literally give you the DNA of that emotional gene, and it can go back to 7 generations or more. And you're the one. You get to cut. It's like a strand of pearls. We've talked about this a couple of Truth Tribes ago. A strand of pearls, and you cut the strand, and all the pearls go back to where they belong. Once you discern, is this me or the pearl strand of pain and suffering? You choose sovereignty by aligning with your own power. Instead of looking for it outside of you, you get it from inside of you. because then you move on to the last step. The fifth step was mastery. And this is where we're all kind of in between solitude and knowingness. I got to get quiet, then I get quiet. I don't like hear what I'm hearing because I'm getting triggered and I don't like these feelings and these discomfort. But then you go into knowingness, like I know who I want to be. And then we're triggering, going back and forth. Once you push past, I know who I am, then you hit mastery. And it's taking back your power. That comes with mastery of self. If you don't master you, my friends, get ready, you will be mastered. When you aren't waiting for the answers, you know you're there, you're ascended. You will never get to keep going. Most people on this planet will never hit, you're tapping into the fifth dimension and going back and forth. We're not going to go to 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, maybe the younger kids in these generations, they're here for several, decades. And so they may start experiencing it. But a lot of us older generations, I don't know if we'll get to or not. But the frequencies are what's going on inside your cells and your body and your mind and your soul. Okay. And that's how you know you're like, okay, I've got to literally change my entirety of how I think. And when you know you've mastered your own internal plan, this is your energetic DNA cells. Your cellular network is held with spiritual, energetic frequencies of DNA. And when you get triggered in a master plan, when you know mastery of all 12 aspects, even in the weak spots of your aspects, when you get triggered, you dive inside and you do not react. You just don't. You just don't react to anything anymore. It just doesn't bother you because you know who you want to be. And when you're on your desired plan, you will not let others take your peace or your patience or your time. How do you know when you're getting to that higher timeline of 5D? It's when you're done associating with pawn discussions or done expressing the qualities of your old self or your old inner child's trauma shadow. You will start remembering the playful childlike personality in you instead of the traumatized inner child in you. How do you know? When you can be told you're a bad boy or you're a bad girl, and you can choose the lighter you, not the angry, shame, guilted little you. You're choosing the adult you that says, I get to pick. I get to pick me. You can say, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's the creative way we can go play with a lighter version. And I'm open to suggestions, right? To laughter and peace as the essence of this energetic exchange. When you have found that you can integrate all of you into mastery, the past becomes the now. The future becomes the now. The now becomes your powerful mastery of you. And you no longer are affected by dirty pawns or who's in it. You could give a shit less, right? And so they will come along with you when they are ready from the pond. I'm trying to tell you, you're a lighthouse, call it the ocean. But most people are in a really dirty, mucky pond and they look for a political pond and a medical pond and a relationship pond. And they're all in these messy ponds of just muck and dirt and crap. And we're not even paying attention to, do you even want to be there? And your answer is no, of course not. But you have to master you, and you're going to go through these stages. A lot of people have been going through a lot of solitude and silence, and like you can't find anywhere to go because you're in this nothingness state. Now, this doesn't work and that doesn't work. That doesn't feel right, but I don't know where to go. And we're like confused. So I get it. Let's go into the planetary update real quick to help you understand what is also coming up. So in 2 days, my friends, on the 12th, today's the 10th, okay? Wednesday, you're already feeling it. I'm not even gonna get in. There's the Schumann resonance, the planetary alignments, there's so much going on energetically that it's causing a lot of this nothingness, solitude. Like, what is, you got to shut it down just because you can barely handle all the chaos. It's not going to stop. That's why I'm pressing on all of you to wake up and go, I got to get into self-mastery. So full moon in the sign of Leo on Wednesday on the 12th. Okay. And it's in Leo, and full moons, as you know, support closure. It's the closure of a moon cycle. And so the sun's over here in Aquarius shining completely across the wheel. and it's shining under the moon, making it big and bright. And Leo is the sign of the lion, the leader. It rules energetically our inner child. That's why it's all coming up for everyone, going, why? I want to play. I want to be lighter. I want to have fun. And then I go, oh, I'm a bad kid. I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad girl. And that's like this chaos going on inside. It's time, my friends, to play like a child again instead of run away from that fearful, protective, fear-based, shame-based, guilt-based inner child. So full moons, remember, in Leo always bring drama because Leo is a sign of drama. It's the sign of acting and being on stage and playing and romance, right? And so it's going to bring drama. It's going to encourage you to focus on yourself instead of all the drama outside. In astrology, it also rules the heart, which can often coincide with like heartfelt admissions or making decisions that maybe align with your heart's desire. So we're coming from heart and not head, right? Leo is passion, play, fun. This is your reminder. Take up space like a lion with a big mane, right? There is no reason to dim your light to make others feel comfortable. You need to be the brightest lighthouse in the ocean, in standing right next to that dirty, mucky pond. Shine, okay? There is no reason to dim your light to make others feel comfortable, my friends. Listen to your inner child who wants to come out and play. Check in with your younger self. Visualize a conversation with your younger self so you can lead. It will lead you to just super insightful breakthroughs going, oh my gosh, I've always been funny or playful or lighthearted or romantic, or I love playing that, or I used to love doing that so much. Do it again. That's what this Leo is bringing up. It's also a fixed sign. So Leo energy is kind of struggle sometimes to get out of playing something different, right? So it can feed into stubbornness. So be careful. But it also is the sign, like I said, of fun. So it can also, help you be stubborn and forced creativity and determination to see your goals to the end. The lighthearted ones, the lighthouse ones, the part of you that says, no, 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 I'm going to start mastering me. This is a super powerful time to reflect on your unique gifts and your talents, because Leo is a sign of drama and being on stage, and it's so extravagant. So focus on that. How can you leverage what makes you special and stand out and make a difference in your community and leave the world better than you found it? Who do I want to be? Not who am I? You're meant to share your light with others, my friends. It's so vital. And I can say this a million times, and it's just all comes back to the same thing in here. Sovereign, yourself, what makes you feel the brightest? Because that's when people want to be around you. Then we also there's a ton of things going on, but I'm bringing the things that are impacting these shit show triggers right now. Okay. The North Node is in Pisces. I brought it up probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. It will be there for a year. Okay. And North Node is the leaves of the tree, and then South Node are the roots of the tree in Virgo. But we're going to focus on the North Node because the North Node is all about what we need to grow, become more of, right? So North Node is going to bring up what else is triggering us. North Node in Pisces says, get out of your heads. Pisces rules the head, thinking, self-imprisonment, the mind, the self-sacrificing, all of that. Okay. So the North Node says, okay, let's take the higher frequency of Pisces. Get out of your head and into your Leo heart. What does your heart want? Get the delusion out. About what's happening in that. If you know your chart, go just look for Pisces and you'll know, oh, the North Node is in here. I have to grow in this department. If you haven't gotten Astro 101, go to my website, ideserveitnow.com. It explains to you how to locate Pisces in your own chart and go, oh, that category is where I have to grow in my confidence and not get delusional and start understanding this category ruled by Pisces is asking me to get creative and how I can grow my intuition and my knowledge and my beliefs and my mindset. Okay. Those are two big ones that are triggering why you're all going through this shit test right now. Because I'm telling you, technology, Aquarius, Uranus, there's all these other squares. I mean, there's so much chaos going on, and it's going to go on for the rest of the year. But right now, this Leo's an intense sign. Why? Because it says, see me. And then Pisces is a sign of, nobody sees me, see me, nobody sees me, right? And so you're having this opposition where this full moon is in Leo saying shine, and then over here, the sun is in Aquarius, which is the public. How do I want the world to see me? Who am I being when they look at me? It's a big question. Everybody tap into your thymus right here, okay? Nervous system, your immune center. If you're just forgetting everything Dawn says, I remind you all, walk around if you're nervous, having a rough day, tap in. I am courage. Repeat after me. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. Tap into the mind. I know love. I know courage. I know truth. Okay. So I'm going to open up to Q&A. What stage, even if you just think it right now, what stage are you in awakening to your ascension? Are you in the fed up stage? Are you in the nothingness stage where nothing makes sense anymore, but you know something's not right? Are you in the solitude trying to figure it out and you just can't handle engaging? Are you in the knowing stage or are you in the mastery stage? Where does it show up for you? Where is it triggering you? Where is it getting you? Right? Someone says, can we skip stages? Yes, actually you can if you can put down your phone. If you aren't being in the nothingness stage of going nothing, I can look at this all I want, but it still doesn't mean anything because if I got rid of it, am I being who I want to be? Right? Be alone, master yourself. And if you can do that, yes, you can skip a stage. You can come next Saturday to the DMT method, 1-day event, and master your entire beingness. Who do I want to be instead of who am I? I'm sad, I'm, shameful, I'm guilty, I'm this, I'm that. That's the difference. So I don't know if you can skip a stage. You can try, but it's a little bit more painful. Believe me, I've tried. I have tried deeply, but I've went through a lot of solitude and alone time. But as much as I'm very good at being alone. Aquarius could just be, I'm good at finding things to do in my alone time. I have no problem with being alone. Problem is when it gets very silent and you have to hear all the things that you don't want to hear or feel them. And that's when you get into the, okay, if I don't want that, what do I want? So that's a stage that I'm watching people. You don't like going there, but it will come up. And embrace it. Take time. We are not used to being quiet. We are not used to being restful. We are not used to calming down and addressing what's in here in my heart. It's not easy for people. We're not good at having tough conversations. We are not programmed that way. We are programmed to get out there and focus on all the drama and the muck and the dirty water so that we don't realize you are so powerful. Okay, someone else says, I'm feeling also so much solitude and I have no desire to be with the drama and people. Yeah, a lot of people are. Now, sometimes you don't have a choice, but that's where coming into knowingness of who I want to be instead of who I thought I am, looking at your ancestors and going, is there a pattern there? I mean, the way you get out of all this is look for the patterns in your parents, in your ancestors, and then in your own life. How do I keep repeating? And if you see a pattern, that's power. That's how you have the power to get out of it. That's how you can be in groups of people and not take it personal because it's not about you. Let's see. Is our inner child our ego? And so it's protecting us from getting criticized and judged. Yeah, I think what they're trying to say is basically like ego is going to protect you. Yes, it is. If you've done work with me, I call it your shadow beast, your inner child, your ego, your higher self. You can call it whatever you want. But yes, the inner child is little you learned how to protect yourself because you just didn't know how when you went out and had fun and you got in trouble for something you didn't plan on. And so you start to protect yourself now in all areas of your life for that, from that topic, I should say. Okay. Um, let's see. Someone's like, yes, I'm fed up, but where do you go from there? So if you missed the beginning kind of the call, um, the 5 stages that we're ascending through, fed up is number 1. Nothingness, when this doesn't work and that doesn't work. You're like, nothing works, right? I get it. And then we move into solitude. So from being fed up, you're going to go into understanding that that doesn't work because the old's dead and the new isn't there because I haven't prepared and figured out who I want to be. And so you're going to go into solitude, to nothingness, right? Then are you okay being alone? Do you like you? Do you know you? Are you ready to focus on you? And this is a big shit test, right? This is the big trigger everybody's getting. Like, can you just be, I'm okay with being me and I'm okay with being silent, whether I'm in a group or whether I'm by myself. It's all good. I know things, I have plans. Some days I have not been motivated. So I've been reading a lot. I'm like, okay. And that has to be okay. Because then all of a sudden your energy comes back and you pour in a ton of information and you fix and do and create whatever you need to. That's the difference. Okay. Any other questions, my friends? That was it. You got it? You're going through the stages. Anybody want to comment what stage you're at? Or do you feel it? Do you feel the shit test coming at you? It's just shit. And it's always going to be from a person, place, thing, or experience, typically on your phone, keeping you in this muddy pond of just murky, just old crap that doesn't serve you anymore. Right? Okay. So remember, my friends, Truth Tribe is on Facebook with Daune Thompson. Truth Tribe with Daune Thompson on Facebook. It's free, but if you want all the information, sometimes I repost stuff there so you can get more. Remember to like and share and invite your friends to the next Truth Tribe. That's how we grow. Remember, this is the last week to sign up. If you know someone, if you've been to my classes or you want to be participating, the DMT method live is what I was talking about. If you want to master you, next Saturday, February 22nd, 1 day of 10xing all 12 categories of your life. Go grab your spot. Just go to ideserveitnow.com or my name, DauneThompson.com. It'll pop up immediately. Click on it. You can learn more and register there right away. It's 1 day. I promise you, you will not regret it because you will have a tool for life to continually upgrade your life and get yourself into self-mastery instead of bullshit mastery. Okay. Remember, if you're listening to this after the live session on YouTube or Spotify, I will post all the links in the note below. Find me if you have any questions. Also, my favorite holiday of the entire year is coming up, so see you all soon. But happy Valentine's Day. I wore red for all of you. Happy Valentine's Day. Share the love this week. No one will know. They'll think you're just being Valentine. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I love you all. Brightest blessings, and I will see you next week. You guys have a great night. Take care.